Hey everyone. I realized that after the whole Unity debacle, um, I never actually took a full record of where some people's world left off. So I wanted to take a status of some people's world and show off kind of everything that it is. We've got your apartment. There's so much space for it to be locked and expand. Um, we're using camera influence fields to shift cameras to do different things, like to constrain the camera through like narrow passages here, like that. And using a blending structure through Cinemachine, we're able to have it be very seamless. We're also using interesting little dynamics like focal things and stuff where the camera's meant to do dynamic things like shift its field of view and stuff to maintain its focus on you. But then as you get to subject pieces, they add to a collective pool that averages out where the camera should be looking. Um, so then, you have this, and inside here I'm, moving at a certain rate. I hold run and nothing happens. I click jump, nothing happens, because that's because I'm in a movement profile field. There's the option to customize yourself, although I was in the middle of editing it at this stage of working on it, so it's not as perfect. But this uses the paper mesh system that is now even more robust in our own proprietary work, so that's going to be really exciting once we get it working. And then you can go outside. And so we have a level streaming system that has rooms and regions and stuff. It's recursive. I talk about it in another lecture, devdive, but you can see that it knows that the door is closed and that the outside doesn't exist yet, and then you can open the door and the outside begins to exist. Of course, it's very scrappy right now, and it's good to actually see that the world doesn't exist past there. But now, if I hold run, I have my nice, as I've always had, running, yay! The camera swings and stuff like that, but it's also in a wide profile or an outside normal profile. So now when I move around, the camera is a little bit snappier, a little bit faster. It's pulled out a bit further so you can actually see what you're doing, run and jump. You can come up to these places and your movement changes. I run a little bit, I think. I can jump still. The camera pulls in a little bit. Some things. Um, these soccer balls are the predecessor of what we now have called pulses. These would be collide pulses that we don't have yet, but when they hit the wall at a certain velocity, it tells the wall, hey, I collided with you, and the wall goes, hey, I'm receptive to being collided with. So it's not that you're damaging it with like a hurt, like damage with a weapon. You're triggering it by hitting it with something at a force with the physics. Um, Soccer balls can also go inside the thing, although they aren't very efficient because they have to actually hit inside the net with force to make the trigger happen. So I mean, I've really expanded on some of those systems, so that's great. Um, you don't see it in other videos, but I made the neighbors next door and I started a cool bouncing system where same thing, when you land on it, it collides and you get to learn move around. Um, this is a scenario called Kitty Cat Next Door, and it's a tongue-in-cheek kind of gag at the slut next door that's gender fluid. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I wrote some of the design down already. It's going to be a strange like invade the house to meet the hottie while the dad is outside shooting at you because he won't let you get with his spawn. But as you can see, that door system that blocked out this whole outside world is also part of a visual field system where I have a cone collider with the camera that's a little bit bigger than the extents of it. And so as I turn the camera, it's loading doors that don't have a barrier to it, so they're just auto active if they get seen. Whereas when I open that door, my field of view collides with the world that just gets unlocked by the door, to the same effect of generating the, now that you're looking through it, the world exists. Small tangent, you can, we got little cans, soda pop and dirty old garbage. I wanted to make bigger garbage bags and stuff that you could also, maybe the garbage bags would pop, or like let's let go of some of this shit. Um, Part of this, oh, I guess my ground disappeared or got layered over. But part of this was, you're at a construction site next door and there's trash and garbage, and we're in a movement profile field where I go slow because I'm in the mucky, rainy muck. It's like, hey, have a fun thing where you uh, hop off and up, stuff like that, get tetanus or something. Um, I put a document here about having crowd generators, and so like these roads would have a quote unquote car crowd generator, and the cars would come back and forth and go somewhere and delete each other. But here we have the bus stop. This is one of the modules of travel. So the way that some people's world is meant to be is that fast travel takes you to certain places that fast travel takes you. The bus takes you to certain places that buses take you, etc., etc. So you can only get certain places by getting certain ways, and so arguably part of this is that you could access the sewer down in through here, and go through it's called the underground Keener network, where it's a fast travel by going through their underground network that you only access by doing Keener things and getting Keener points. So there's trash, not this stuff, but in your house and other houses and buildings and stuff that when you put in garbages, the garbages fill and the Keeners are happy. But the bus, and like many other things, has a mini game to unlock the newer areas scenarioistically. So the bus has a mini game. Oh, cool! I didn't realize you could do that. That's so fun. You can't go in usually if you're on a bus. So then I guess I'll show this. You take the bus and it takes you Transit Terror. You start. You're going to White Ave, so that's to go see Wolfgang and Hayes' new apartment. So this is the first scenario of the like introductory episode. And now you have the bus ride. Uh-oh, this guy's super stinky, that's why he's green. Oh, stinky guy and the regular people. Oh, I'm so stressed out. I just need to get somewhere comfortable. Oh, here's Wolfgang, he was riding with me. Oh my god, alright. So he's friendly and everybody else is stressful because they're strangers, and especially the stinky guys are super stinky, so I don't want to be with them. But I'm making it to the thing, and if I lose my health by being stinky attacked by this guy, and oh god, they really need to shower, I would lose. But, you just desperately get through it, and here you are with your buddy. But the mark of the game is that generatively, the level would have like weights and balances of like how full the thing is, and so you'd stop at bus stops and people would leave and come in and it would rearrange the stuff. So the friend doesn't necessarily have to be the friend that comes from the scenario, like in Wolfgang's case. It could be just a friendly face or a kind rider. But basically all of them would have their little mechanics. I had one that if you have a line of sight with them, if the camera's actually looking at them, they'll look at you and engage you, and it stresses you out because the game is called Transit Terror. So then this is the mark of a beginning of a game, but I wanted to make it 4-player multiplayer where you and the other 3 players stress each other out, and you're all trying to survive to the end. So you can sabotage each other, you can stand by each other and stuff. So I won, I can continue. And so because of that, I unlocked the next scenario. Wolfgang would be here telling me he's ready to go. We can go and do our stuff. This would be a whole area. This is the White Ave apartments. So it's old neighborhoods, small places, boulevards and stuff. And you can take the elevator or like buzz someone. And and that allows you to go to, oh yes, Stroker Estates, floor 2, and this is where, you know, you can actually see the marks of where these doors and stuff can be really helpful. You're inside, the only thing outside is like the view, so out through windows, and then you can go in through buildings, and these rooms you know, generate as you go in. Here's this trash that I was talking about, although the camera focus is old and broken and dated. Here you can see outside, so you actually can see the environment, and, you know, again, traffic going by and stuff. Actually, it's funny, that brown over there, that brown platform is, that's just a whole nother district. That's probably white, Riverbend over there, with haze standing up in the sky. So then the idea is that just like anywhere else, these places have their things. So you can play the Skippy, the cockroach, and, you know, climb around all over this place and do puzzles and stuff in this area. This is one of somebody's apartment, Wolfgang's or Jory's or somebody's. And then you can go out and go back to do stuff. So then, you know, that's probably where what I would do an episode of would end. So then you just go back to Balzac Elementary, House Beltworth. So here we are back at the neighborhood. But, you know, as you can see, there's actually more areas to go. So like here, I wanted to have the back alleys, and you know, in all of this, you find puzzles, platforms, things to bounce, things to climb, things to trigger, people to barter with, guys to talk to that are weird things to see and do. You know, how do you get into this place? It's completely encircled, all sorts of stuff like that. And they kind of chain you like any kind of game world does to over here, as we're seeing, is B's district, B's area. If we go to B's block, you know, there we are. And from either of them, you can go around to, oh, I don't know if this field of view is connected yet. Oops. From either of those places, you can peel around and go to Balzac Elementary. You know, I wanted to have a drill sergeant here that's drilling kids, and he says he drills babies all day and night because he just considers everyone to be a baby, and he's just way too uptight and too hardcore. Here we have movement profiles in the sand that makes it kind of hard to climb and stuff, so that's the lava zone, if you will. And so it's like, here, let's figure out how to do gameplay and movement and stuff, like, to just make a fun, you know, goof off game. And all of this kind of movement stuff plays into what kind of mini games we can build, what's going on. You know, we have the school. This is where Mo goes to school. So then there's a mini game called Protect the Fucking Kid, and it's about a race to get the kids to school before school's over or starts and stuff. Same idea, 4 players. You get everyone gets their own kid to the fucking school, and so we're trying to build all this stuff out, build camera work that does good. Right now, this is self-directed. I don't have Z targeting or anything like that, so the camera just does what it does, and you kind of wiggle with it. And yeah, I just wanted to actually get kind of an overview of like the game world and stuff, because I put actually a lot of effort into this, and I didn't realize that I didn't record it in any fashion. So I guess consider this a dev dive in its own right, but like. Also a total record of like, wow, I actually kind of busted my ass on this stuff. Thanks, Unity. You really did me a solid. You guys are champions. But yeah, no, this is a transition corner. This is like a midpoint, so like between the two areas, if I look away from both, you don't render the school nor the house, Riverbend apartments. And then yeah, there's Kitty Cat's house, and so then it's like, hey, I got a new item for Kitty Cat, and it's like, you come this way, and it's like, and it's like, oh shit, he's fucking shooting at me, like, oh my god. So then it's like, okay, you come this way, and it's like, and it's like, oh my god, he got me, and so now you're all like, and you probably can go into your little backpack over here and pull out a pop or something and do that. But hey, you knocked the door, his fence open, and he didn't notice because you used your soccer ball, and now it's like, oh, he didn't patwang over here, he's outside in the front, and it's like, Oh no. Then you eat shit and break your leg right there and you have to have another drink. Oh no. My frame rate, I'm recording and doing stuff. There you go. Kitty cat, I'm coming. And there you go. Now I can go talk and have a dialogue with Kitty cat. So, yeah, I hope this kind of oversees kind of everything that was going on, how to optimize the like structuring of the game and how you feed it to the rendering systems and stuff, essentially by drip feeding the world. Um, and like through all of this, like once we get persistence and other like higher detail things going, build this world out and stuff again on new engine, new everything. Wow, I'm really excited for what the systems that have improved from this are, how we can recover all sorts of different kind of things, like the tendency for the cameras to swing and watch and look and stuff, and all the new stuff we'll be able to build to make this a lot more smooth and polished and reliable, and full, just so full. I'm so excited for that. So um, here's to some really awesome work coming up real soon. And thanks for watching. This was a long one, but I hope it was pretty fun and exciting. Um, I hope you're excited to unlock, new bus routes, new things. You get to take the Edmonton train, you get to take a train and a bus and a train and all sorts of stuff for different difficulty levels. I wanted to do a paperboy game, cleaning houses nearby. You can find furniture for your apartment in the alleys and around houses and stuff. Like it's meant to be a very, very just kind of modular little poppy little game of just doing, well, it's Toy Box. You're just supposed to be able to come out here and go like, man, which way do I want to go? So I hope we can capture that in full in everything what we do. So thanks for watching again. Have a good Saturday. Like I should be not doing this, but thanks for coming anyways. Bye.